What happens when the sun is shadowed not in darkness but in divine mystery? The 29th of March heralds more than just a solar eclipse. It brings a coded spiritual transmission destined to alter the course of fate. According to Nancy Cooper, 8 zodiac signs are poised to receive this cosmic gift of fortune and enlightenment. But this isn't about winning a lottery, it's about unlocking inner mastery, purpose, and vibrational awakening. If you feel something stirring within your soul already, you're not alone. This message transcends astrology. It's a spiritual blueprint for those who are ready to rise. The spiritual gateway of the 29th March solar eclipse. Every eclipse is a shadow cast across the sky, but some shadows don't conceal, they reveal. The 29th March solar eclipse opens a gateway not just in the cosmos but within the collective human soul. Those who are energetically sensitive may feel disoriented at first, as if they're standing between two worlds. This is the threshold moment where illusions dissolve and the spiritual light hidden behind the ego begins to glow. This eclipse acts like a reset button, clearing outdated programming from the spiritual DNA. It invites you to step beyond time-bound cycles and embrace what's coming from the fifth dimension. You may feel called to solitude, silence, or sudden inspiration. This is not a coincidence but the effect of the portal whispering your next steps. Your intuition will speak louder during this time, guiding you to where your energy truly belongs. The gateway opens in the realm of spirit, but its effects will ripple through your earthly experiences. You might encounter synchronicities, sudden opportunities, or even challenges that push you toward a higher version of yourself. These are the signs that the portal is active for you. The eclipse doesn't create change, it reveals what's ready to transform within you. Why this eclipse is different: a conscious reset. Unlike ordinary eclipses that bring emotional turbulence or confusion, this one offers clarity through a just reset. The alignment of celestial bodies isn't just astronomical, it's energetic, creating a field where clarity and soul remembrance become possible. You may suddenly feel as though veils are lifting, revealing truths that were once buried deep in your subconscious. This is not chaos, it's order emerging from within the soul. The difference lies in intention. While past eclipses may have triggered reactions, this one activates awareness. It pushes you into situations where you're required to observe rather than react. That moment of pause is where your consciousness begins to evolve. The universe isn't asking you to change instantly, it's asking you to be aware of what you're holding on to and why. Think of this eclipse as a soft but firm hand guiding you to shed old timelines. Relationships may shift, values may evolve, and passions may reawaken. These aren't losses, they are realignments. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. A conscious reset is a sacred gift, and those who can attune to it will find themselves renewed both emotionally and energetically. This is why the 29th March eclipse feels different. It moves you not with force, but with frequency. It tunes your inner compass toward your divine purpose, urging you to release anything that no longer resonates. If you've been yearning for direction, this is your answer, not in loud proclamations but in the quiet guidance of your spirit finally taking the lead. Eclipse energies that rewire your destiny. While most people fear what they cannot see, the hidden light of this eclipse is what truly empowers. As the sun disappears, it doesn't die. It transforms, revealing frequencies that your physical eyes can't perceive but your soul can absorb. These rays bypass logic and go straight to the energy centers in your body, rewiring beliefs, emotions, and karmic memory. This is a powerful moment to sit in stillness, not just as an observer, but as a receiver. The hidden light carries codes, some ancient, some new, that interact with your DNA. Many people will begin to notice changes they can't explain, dreams with messages, sudden clarity, and even shifts in physical health. These are not symptoms of confusion, but signals of calibration. Destiny isn't a fixed line, it's a malleable frequency, and during this eclipse it becomes incredibly impressionable. Whatever energy you project, think, or hold during this time can become a magnet for your future. That's why spiritual discipline, gratitude, and deep inner reflection are vital now. You're not just watching the skies, you're shaping your own cosmic blueprint through your focus. Why 8 zodiac signs are chosen. Now in spiritual numerology, 8 is the number of infinity, balance, and karmic flow. It symbolizes the connection between the material and the spiritual, the above and the below. It's no accident that exactly 8 zodiac signs are magnetized by this eclipse. They are the ones who stand at the intersection of destiny and divine timing. These signs are chosen because they carry the frequency of readiness. The number 8 bends reality just like its shape, an eternal loop. It carries the energy of cycles, karma, and return. These zodiac signs aren't merely getting lucky, they are receiving the consequences of past alignment, whether in this lifetime or another. The eclipse simply acts as the amplifier for what's already been earned or destined. This isn't favoritism, it's frequency. Those 8 signs are vibrating at a level that allows them to unlock doors others can't yet see. They are attuned to the shifts and whispers of the universe. This moment is a reward for inner work, resilience, and divine timing. The cosmos recognizes preparation, and now these signs are ready to receive. You may find yourself among them, and if so, don't question why. Accept that your soul chose this timeline to ascend. The sacred number 8 isn't just about being fortunate, it's about being aligned. When spiritual and material balance intersect, miracles unfold, and for these signs, that balance is reaching its highest point. For Aries, the eclipse arrives as a spiritual ignition. Aries is often seen as the warrior of the zodiac, but this time it's not about outer battles, it's about the inner war between fear and faith. The eclipse opens a gate for Aries to face the self, stripped of ego and distractions. In that raw stillness, divine courage emerges, not from proving something but from accepting who they are. This is a season where Aries may feel called to lead in new, unexpected ways, not with force but with vision. Their instincts will become sharper, their passion more focused, and their sense of self stronger than ever. The fire that once raged wildly now burns with purpose, illuminating paths not just for themselves but for others as well. Past frustrations and obstacles begin to dissolve as Aries awakens to the power of self-realization. They understand that true strength lies not in resistance but in surrendering to a higher mission. The eclipse offers revelations that help them cut cords with cycles that once held them hostage. Old stories are rewritten with cosmic ink. Aries is no longer just the beginning, they become the spark of sacred action. Every step taken now is amplified by celestial momentum. This is not about climbing ladders, it's about rising as the flame that guides. The eclipse whispers, "You are ready. Step forward, not for conquest, but for soul expansion." For Taurus, the solar eclipse does not shake their foundation, it strengthens it. The energy now flowing through the earth signs is not just physical, it is deeply spiritual. Taurus is learning to merge their love for stability with the flexibility of divine timing. This moment brings prosperity, not through struggle, but through grounded alignment with the universe's flow. What once felt like resistance begins to ease. Taurus is guided to find abundance in ways that serve both soul and survival. Unexpected opportunities to grow income, build legacy, or receive spiritual inheritance appear now, but the true prosperity is inner peace, clarity, and emotional safety. That is the treasure being unearthed through this eclipse. The eclipse allows Taurus to shed outdated attachments to material security. It teaches that wealth without wisdom is emptiness, and wisdom without grounding is lost. As Taurus reconnects with their core values, they draw in opportunities aligned with their soul's purpose. This is the kind of wealth that doesn't vanish, it multiplies with meaning. Through calm observation and trust, Taurus becomes a lighthouse. Their grounded energy offers strength to others navigating stormy seas. This eclipse reminds them, your stillness is not stagnation, it is spiritual magnetism, and now prosperity flows toward those who are rooted in grace and ready to receive. For Gemini, the eclipse opens a channel to dimensions of thought they've never explored. Known for their quick minds and restless curiosity, Geminis now find that their intellect is merging with intuition. Messages come through dreams, flashes of insight, and quiet knowing. The higher mind is activating not just for logic but for light. The energy supports deep learning, but not through books, through resonance. Conversations feel prophetic, ideas seem to carry hidden codes, and synchronicities multiply. Gemini's words now carry weight. Their voice becomes a bridge for others. What they speak creates reality. This isn't about chatter, it's about consciousness. As their mental field expands, so does their sense of purpose. No longer content with surface truths, Gemini dives deep. They seek what's eternal, what lasts beyond trends and talk. They become truth seekers, decoding symbols and translating cosmic wisdom into everyday language. This is how they serve, through enlightened expression. The eclipse teaches Gemini that their mind is not just a tool, it's a temple. When they speak from spirit instead of fear, they heal. When they listen deeply, they awaken. Their greatest blessing now is clarity, the kind that cuts through illusion and builds bridges between dimensions. Gemini is no longer collecting data, they're channeling destiny. Cancer enters this eclipse with a heart ready to transform. Emotions that once felt overwhelming now become tools for alchemy. The eclipse energy doesn't drain Cancer, it recharges them. They begin to see that their emotional sensitivity isn't weakness, it's wisdom in its purest form. This is where they find their sacred strength. Old emotional wounds may surface now not to harm but to heal. Cancer has the unique ability to transmute pain into compassion. As they revisit their past, they don't get stuck, they rewrite the story. Memories no longer carry suffering, they become stepping stones toward empowerment and soul clarity. This eclipse also activates Cancer's protective role, not just for family but for the collective heart. They are guardians of emotional truth, and this moment reveals how vital that role is. Cancer realizes their intuition is not just personal, it's prophetic. Their dreams, gut feelings, and instincts now carry messages meant for more than just themselves. As their emotional body clears, their inner light strengthens. They no longer fear abandonment, rejection, or loss. They understand that true safety is spiritual, not situational. This awakening turns Cancer into a quiet force of nature, a soul who leads through love, protects through presence, and heals through authenticity. The eclipse has crowned them with inner peace. Leo steps into the eclipse not with fear but with a roaring soul ready to rise. This cosmic moment brings them clarity on their life's true purpose, not the roles they've played, but the light they were always meant to shine. The eclipse strips away the performative layers, revealing the divine core beneath, and it is radiant. In this season, Leo's creativity becomes sacred expression, whether through words, art, leadership, or healing. Their gifts are awakened with precision. But it's no longer about being seen, it's about seeing themselves clearly. The eclipse teaches Leo that true recognition begins with self-acknowledgement, not applause. Old doubts fade as new confidence is born, not from ego but from alignment. Leo understands that their presence alone can shift energy in a room. They stop chasing validation and begin channeling inspiration. The eclipse pushes them to lead by example, to be light without dimming others. This is soul confidence, not performance. Leo's heart is now the throne of their higher self. They carry joy that uplifts, courage that empowers, and wisdom that transforms. As the eclipse lights their path, they don't just walk it, they blaze it. This is Leo's time to shine, not for attention, but for ascension. The world is ready for their light. For Virgo, the eclipse activates the sacred geometry of their soul. Every detail, every habit, every step they've taken now begins to make divine sense. What once seemed like a struggle for perfection is revealed as preparation for purpose. Virgo is not being asked to change everything, they are being shown what already works and why. This eclipse brings deep healing, not in chaos but in quiet correction. Virgo's gift lies in noticing what others miss, and now that gift expands beyond the physical. They begin to perceive energetic patterns, spiritual imbalances, and subtle messages in their environment. This allows them to heal not just bodies but spaces and timelines. Their intuition sharpens as they are called to serve as spiritual architects, whether in careers, relationships, or self-growth. Virgo sees the blueprint clearly. The eclipse helps them step into roles of responsibility, not with burden but with clarity. They are builders of better futures, not just for themselves but for those around them. Virgo's mind merges with their heart, and the result is divine intelligence. They are no longer striving, they are embodying. Their careful nature becomes a source of peace. Their routines become rituals, and their logic becomes love in motion. This is Virgo's ascension, not loud but profound. The eclipse unlocks their quiet power. For Libra, the eclipse awakens the deeper essence of their soul contract. Balance, not just in relationships but across lifetimes. Karmic cycles tied to justice, truth, and inner harmony now come to the surface. Libra is called to witness the scales of their life, what they've given, what they've withheld, what they've forgiven, and what still needs resolution. The solar energies shine light on unresolved spiritual debts, but with the intent to clear, not condemn. The eclipse brings moments of clarity regarding relationships, past and present. Libra begins to see people through the lens of soul history rather than current roles. They may recall connections that feel older than this lifetime or recognize patterns they've unknowingly repeated. These aren't mistakes, they are messages. This awareness becomes the turning point for Libra to choose from soul maturity, not emotional impulse. What once felt unfair now reveals itself as a teacher. Libra is no longer obsessed with pleasing others. They begin focusing on aligning with higher truth. As they make peace with their past, their energy becomes lighter, more magnetic. Forgiveness isn't weakness here, it's liberation. And this shift invites new high-frequency connections that mirror their growth. Libra's purpose becomes clear. They are not here to balance external conflict, but to restore equilibrium within. As they do, they become vessels of spiritual justice, guiding others into clarity through their very presence. The eclipse crowns Libra with the wisdom to act with grace, speak with truth, and walk the middle path without compromise. In doing so, they embody divine harmony. For Scorpio, the eclipse is not a gentle breeze, it's a deep plunge into their soul's underworld. But this time they do not emerge with scars. They rise with sacred power. The shadows they feared, avoided, or buried are now illuminated, not to haunt them but to gift them with transformation. Scorpio begins to understand true power comes from owning every part of themselves, even the ones once kept hidden. This cosmic moment pulls Scorpio into intense reflection. Old traumas resurface, not to torment but to transmute. They no longer fear pain because they recognize its alchemical nature. What once broke them now becomes their strength. They become healers through experience, teachers through survival, and leaders through depth. The eclipse is the key that unlocks their emotional mastery. Relationships shift dramatically during this time. Scorpio may feel called to release connections that no longer match their vibration, but it's not from anger, it's from clarity. They realize that staying in energetic misalignment costs too much soul power. This detachment doesn't isolate them, it frees them. And what enters after the eclipse mirrors their newly activated frequency. What these 8 signs feel, but can't explain. There are moments during a spiritual awakening where language fails. This eclipse creates one of those moments. The 8 chosen signs may find themselves feeling out of place, strangely emotional or mentally distant in the days surrounding the eclipse. But what they're experiencing isn't confusion, it's an inner shift. A reprogramming of soul frequencies that the conscious mind has yet to interpret. This shift may appear as physical fatigue, changes in sleep patterns, heightened intuition, or moments of overwhelming emotion. These aren't random, they are signs that the soul is integrating new energy. What's happening internally is like a software update on a cosmic level. You don't always see the download, but afterward, everything operates differently and more efficiently. This invisible transformation may also reveal itself in decision-making. These signs suddenly feel sure about paths they've previously doubted, or they lose interest in things they once obsessed over. Friends and family might notice a change in their energy, their silence, or their new clarity. This is the eclipse working from the inside out, preparing them for a future they can't yet see but can already feel. Pineal gland activation during eclipse. The pineal gland, often called the third eye, is more than a mystical concept, it's a spiritual receptor. During solar eclipses, this gland is activated through unseen ultraviolet rays and energetic light codes. For the awakened soul, this is a divine opportunity. These frequencies bypass the logical mind and awaken dormant knowledge stored deep within the body's energy system. What many don't realize is that the pineal gland is sensitive to vibrational information, sound frequency, and cosmic light. During this eclipse, the gland receives amplified signals, enhancing intuitive perception. You may experience sudden clarity, intense dreams, or a strange buzzing sensation between the eyebrows. These aren't symptoms, they're signals. Your inner vision is awakening. The activation brings not just insight, but responsibility. As your spiritual perception sharpens, so does your sensitivity to truth and illusion. You may start to sense energy behind words, intentions hidden behind actions, and timelines unfolding before they manifest. This isn't paranoia, it's perception, and the eclipse is the catalyst for this upgrade. To support this awakening, quiet time and decalcifying practices like sun gazing after eclipse, meditation, and grounding are essential. You're not just thinking anymore, you're receiving. The third eye is the soul's compass, and this eclipse realigns it to cosmic north. The journey from mind to knowing has begun, and it's permanent. Timeline collapsing and conscious rebirth for awakened beings. During this solar eclipse, time behaves differently, not in hours and minutes, but in how it bends around consciousness. For awakened souls, this marks the collapse of old timelines that no longer serve their purpose. You might notice sudden shifts, a job ending, a relationship dissolving, or an urge to move or create. These aren't coincidences, they are signs of the universe clearing outdated scripts to make space for your true path to emerge. This eclipse acts like a reset of your soul's GPS. Old patterns that felt endless will now feel hollow. You'll see through roles you once clung to and desires that once fueled you. These collapses are not losses, they are exits from energetic contracts you've outgrown. In their place, a new timeline begins to unfold, one that is shaped by awareness, not survival, and driven by purpose, not pressure. Rebirth doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in a quiet morning when you realize you've outgrown your old self. The eclipse delivers this realization with clarity, gifting you with a conscious choice to stay where it's safe, or rise where it's sacred. You're not being forced, you're being invited, and those who walk forward now step into a life authored by soul, not circumstance. Spiritual luck is worldly luck. Many will feel lucky after this eclipse, but for the chosen signs, the luck that arrives is not material first, it's spiritual. Worldly luck is about gaining something external, money, success, opportunities. But spiritual luck is about receiving clarity, alignment, and inner guidance that makes those external blessings sustainable. This eclipse brings both, but only to those who can tell the difference. Spiritual luck often appears as a moment of divine timing. You meet someone who shifts your life, or you stumble into an idea that transforms everything. It's not random, it's encoded into your soul's timeline. The eclipse energizes those points of destiny, pushing them to the surface. You'll notice things fall into place, not because you hustled harder, but because you surrendered deeper. Worldly luck may follow, but it will come through paths that feel peaceful and soul-aligned, not chaotic. Those who only chase results will feel confused, but those who trust the unseen will thrive. This eclipse is not about gambling for gain, it's about aligning for grace. The real jackpot is the one that awakens your purpose, and everything else flows from there. The role of eclipse portals in soul contracts and purpose. Eclipses are portals, not in a fantasy sense but in a deeply spiritual one. They act as checkpoints where soul contracts are reviewed, updated, or fulfilled. During this eclipse, those who are aligned will feel a pull toward their true calling, not because something outside tells them so, but because their soul can no longer ignore what it came here to do. For many, relationships and environments that once felt essential may begin to feel restrictive. This isn't failure, it's feedback from the soul. The eclipse reveals where your contracts are complete, and where new ones are forming. You may feel called to teach, to heal, to create, or to serve in new ways. These aren't random urges, they are echoes of your purpose rising. This portal doesn't just open opportunities, it opens remembrance. You'll recall dreams you've buried, gifts you've ignored, and missions you once delayed. It's not too late. The energy of this eclipse says now is the moment. Your soul agreed to be here at this time for this shift, and if you're listening, really listening, it's already begun. You were chosen for this shift. This eclipse is not for everyone, but it is especially for you. If you've read this far and felt something stir, you weren't born randomly into this timeline. You were chosen not because you're perfect, but because you carry the strength, wisdom, and love required for this era of transformation. The universe is calling, not loudly but precisely, to those who are ready to lead through their light. You may feel uncertain, you may still have doubts. But the truth is, your soul knows. That quiet voice within, it's not your imagination, it's your intuition. It's the whisper of angels, guides, and your higher self saying, step forward. You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to trust the path will rise to meet you. As this eclipse energy unfolds, remember this is not an end, it's a return to who you were before fear, before conditioning, before forgetting. And as you rise into this new cycle of light, you won't just shine for yourself, you'll become a lighthouse for others. That is the gift, that is the calling, and now it's your time.